For decades, Allis Chalmers stood at the forefront of innovation, daring to do what others wouldn't. From groundbreaking engineering to bold designs that changed farming forever, these tractors didn't just perform, they shocked the entire industry. Some became legends, others faded into history, but all left a mark that can still be felt today. This is the story of the 10 classic Allis Chalmers tractors that shocked the industry. Machines that redefined what a tractor could be. Number 1. Allis Chalmers Model WC. The year was 1933. America was in the grip of the Great Depression. Money was scarce, spirits were low, and farmers across the country were struggling to survive. Then came a machine that changed everything, the Allis Chalmers Model WC. It wasn't just another tractor, it was a lifeline. A 2,700-pound symbol of hope that combined affordability, efficiency, and raw power in one orange frame. What shocked the world was its revolutionary use of pneumatic rubber tires. At a time when most tractors clattered across the fields on steel wheels, tearing up soil and shaking drivers to exhaustion, the WC rolled smoothly, quietly, and efficiently. It was faster on roads, gentler on fields, and easier on fuel. Powered by a 201 cubic inch four-cylinder engine, it produced around 22 drawbar horsepower, enough to pull 2 plows without hesitation. But the real genius was its simplicity. Farmers could maintain it themselves, repair it with basic tools, and trust it through years of harsh seasons. The WC's affordability meant that even during the Depression, small farmers could finally step into the modern era. By 1948, over 178,000 units had been built, making it one of the best-selling tractors of its time. It wasn't fancy, it wasn't loud, but the Model WC quietly started a revolution. It proved that innovation wasn't about luxury, it was about survival. And that's how Allis Chalmers became a household name, not in boardrooms but in barns. The WC didn't just plow the land. It plowed the path for everything that came after. Number 2. Allis Chalmers Model WD. When the Model WD rolled off the line in 1948, farmers didn't just see a tractor, they saw progress. The WC had taught Allis Chalmers what farmers needed most: reliability, power, and speed. The WD took that lesson and turned it into pure steel. Under the hood sat a 200 cubic inch engine, pushing nearly 30 horsepower, a massive leap forward. It came with a feature so advanced it shocked the industry: the snap coupler hitch system. For the first time, implements could be attached and detached in seconds, without crawling underneath or wrestling with bolts. That one feature saved time, saved energy, and saved backs. It turned a job that took minutes into seconds, and farmers loved it. But that wasn't all. The WD had dual traction control, transferring torque to both rear wheels for maximum pulling power. Whether in deep mud or hard clay, it just didn't quit. And here's the best part. It wasn't built in fancy factories for luxury farms. It was built for the everyday man, for the farmer who woke before dawn and came home long after sunset, for the man who couldn't afford failure. Between 1948 and 1953, over 105,000 Model WDs rolled off the line, each one a piece of unbreakable history. Even today, you'll find them rumbling across fields, their engines still strong, their paint faded but proud. The WD was more than a machine, it was a partner, a loyal companion that never asked for rest and never said no. And when you heard its steady rhythm echo across the countryside, you knew one thing: this was the sound of America's heart, still beating strong. Number 3. Allis Chalmers D117. The year was 1957. A new era of farming had begun. Bigger fields, bigger ambitions. Farmers needed more power, more speed, and more control. And Allis Chalmers delivered it all in one mighty package, the D17. This machine didn't just raise the bar, it broke it. With a 226 cubic inch engine producing up to 63 horsepower, the D17 was a true powerhouse for its time. But the magic wasn't just in its numbers, it was in its innovation. It introduced live hydraulics and live PTO, meaning implements could keep running even when the tractor stopped. Farmers could lift, turn, or reverse without losing power to their equipment, something that completely changed field efficiency. Then came the Power Director transmission, a revolutionary feature that allowed on-the-go shifting between high and low ranges. No clutch, no downtime, just smooth, uninterrupted work. And Allis Chalmers didn't forget the man behind the wheel. The D17 came with one of the most comfortable operator stations ever built. Wide seating, intuitive levers, and panoramic visibility. A design that made long hours feel just a little shorter. It became a symbol of progress, not just for the company, but for the entire farming community. From 1957 to 1967, the D17 remained one of Allis Chalmers' proudest achievements, outlasting and outperforming competitors of every color. Its reputation? A tractor that could work all day, every day, and never lose its will to fight. For thousands of farmers, the D17 wasn't just a machine. It was proof that the future of farming had arrived, painted bright orange and built to last. Number 4. Allis Chalmers D21. The horsepower wars were heating up, and Allis Chalmers decided to throw a bomb into the battlefield. They called it the D21, a machine so bold, so massive, that it left the entire industry stunned. It was the first Allis Chalmers tractor to break 100 horsepower, and it didn't just cross that line, it crushed it. Under the hood roared a 426 cubic inch six-cylinder diesel engine, delivering a jaw-dropping 103 PTO horsepower. At the time, that was pure madness. Farmers who saw it in person said it looked like a monster from another world. Towering stance, wide fenders, and tires that looked like they belonged on construction equipment. But it wasn't just about power. The D21 offered cutting-edge comfort and control. Its operator platform gave unmatched visibility. Its Power Director transmission allowed smooth range shifts, and its reinforced axles could handle implements that would destroy weaker machines. When farmers hitched a D21 to a 6-bottom plow, it didn't slow down, it grinned and asked for more. This tractor didn't whisper, it roared. It was Allis Chalmers declaring war on every rival brand in the field. And it worked. Farmers who owned a D21 didn't just have a tool, they had a statement, a declaration that they were part of the future. Even decades later, the D21 remains one of the most iconic tractors ever built. Collectors restore it, enthusiasts race it, farmers still talk about it with pride. Because the D21 wasn't just a tractor, it was a legend in steel and fire. Number 5. Allis Chalmers Model B. Before the Allis Chalmers Model B, tractors were giant, expensive beasts of burden. They belonged to the big farms, the wealthy landowners, the ones who could afford to mechanize their work. But in 1937, Allis Chalmers decided to do something no one else dared to do. They built a tractor for the small farmer. A compact, affordable, reliable machine that could replace the horse without breaking the bank. That tractor was the Model B, and it completely changed the landscape of American farming. Weighing just under 2,000 pounds, powered by a modest 116 cubic inch four-cylinder engine, it produced only 12 horsepower. But that 12 horsepower worked harder than some machines twice its size. It could plow, cultivate, mow, and haul. Everything a small farm needed. What shocked the industry was its adjustable front axle, a feature way ahead of its time. Farmers could easily change the tread width to suit different crops from corn to potatoes, making it one of the most versatile machines ever built. The Model B was designed for simplicity. No complicated levers, no heavy mechanics, just straightforward engineering that anyone could learn in an afternoon. It was also the first Allis Chalmers tractor to wear the company's now iconic Persian orange paint, a color that became a symbol of power and pride for decades to come. And the price? Around $500, cheap enough for almost every small farmer in America to afford during the late 1930s. By the time production ended in 1957, over 105,000 Model B tractors had been sold. The Model B didn't just change the industry, it democratized it. It gave the small farmer a fighting chance in an age when farming was rapidly industrializing. It was more than metal and bolts. It was freedom on four wheels. And that's why, even today, when you hear that gentle hum of a Model B starting up, you're not just hearing an old tractor, you're hearing history itself come alive. Number 6. Allis Chalmers, Model CA. By 1950, Allis Chalmers had already earned a reputation for practical innovation. But the company wasn't done redefining efficiency. Enter the Model CA, a machine that looked humble but had engineering brilliance hidden beneath every inch of orange paint. The CA was designed as a step up from the earlier Model B and C. It packed a slightly larger 123 cubic inch four-cylinder engine, pushing around 20 horsepower, but those numbers barely scratched the surface of its capabilities. What truly shocked farmers was how smooth and precise this tractor felt. It was built for row crop farming, and its adjustable tread width allowed it to handle multiple crop types with ease. You could widen or narrow the front axle to match your rows, a dream come true for vegetable and cotton farmers. The hand clutch system gave the operator live power, meaning you could stop the tractor while keeping your implement running. That kind of control was revolutionary in the early 50s, allowing for precise, efficient work that competitors simply couldn't match. The CA also had a high clearance frame, perfect for cultivating tall crops without damaging them. Its visibility, balance, and maneuverability made it an instant favorite among farmers who prized accuracy over brute strength. And though it wasn't massive, the CA worked with quiet confidence. Day after day, it performed like clockwork. No fuss, no breakdowns, no drama. For thousands of small and mid-sized farms across America, the CA became the most dependable member of the family. And as many collectors will tell you today, if you want to know what perfect engineering balance feels like, you sit on an Allis Chalmers CA. It may not have been the biggest, the strongest, or the loudest, but it was the most trusted. And in farming, that means everything. Number 7. Allis Chalmers 190 XT. In the mid-1960s, something loud began echoing across the farmlands of America. A deep, throaty roar that signaled one thing: raw diesel power. That sound belonged to the Allis Chalmers 190 XT, a machine that redefined what muscle meant on the farm. Released in 1964, the 190 XT came equipped with a 301 cubic inch turbocharged diesel engine, generating up to 93 PTO horsepower. But many farmers discovered they could push it well over 100 on the dyno. For the time, that was jaw-dropping performance. The 190 XT was an evolution of the D19, but it felt like a completely different beast. It introduced a stronger frame, a higher capacity hydraulic system, and the legendary power director transmission, which allowed smooth shifting under heavy load. But what truly made it legendary was its sheer durability. Farmers worked these machines hard, pulling 6-bottom plows, operating large discs, and running long hours, yet the 190 XT refused to die. Its turbocharged engine handled extreme workloads without overheating or losing power, something few tractors of its era could claim. The optional enclosed cab made it one of the first Allis Chalmers models to offer real comfort, sound insulation, protection from the elements, and a view that made the operator feel like a king behind the wheel. It wasn't just built for work, it was built for pride. With its tall stance and sleek orange body, the 190 XT looked powerful before it even started its engine. By the late 1960s, it had become the face of modern farming, a tractor that could do everything and ask for nothing. Even today, you'll see old 190 XTs firing up after decades of use, their engines rumbling like thunder from a time when machines were built not just to perform, but to endure. The 190 XT wasn't just a tractor. It was a diesel titan, and a symbol of Allis Chalmers at its peak. Number 8. Allis Chalmers 7080. By the mid-1970s, the horsepower wars were reaching a fever pitch. Farmers wanted more speed, more torque, more dominance. And once again, Allis Chalmers stepped up with a machine that silenced the competition, the 7080. Launched in 1975, this wasn't just a tractor, it was a statement. Under its massive hood lay a 426 cubic inch turbocharged diesel engine capable of unleashing a mind-blowing 200 horsepower. That's right, 200 horses from a two-wheel drive tractor in the 1970s. It was practically unheard of. The 7080 was an absolute monster in the field. It could pull the heaviest implements, climb the steepest hills, and work for hours under crushing loads without flinching. But Allis Chalmers didn't just focus on muscle, they focused on the man behind the wheel. The 7080's cab was a masterpiece of comfort and technology. Air conditioning, sound insulation, ergonomic controls, and visibility that gave the driver total command over the land. It was so comfortable, operators joked that it felt more like sitting in a jet cockpit than a tractor. The power director transmission and synchronized gears gave operators unmatched control, while the heavy-duty frame and robust hydraulics made it nearly indestructible. When you saw a 7080 rumbling across the horizon, you didn't mistake it for anything else. Its towering stance and deep orange glow made it look like a moving fortress. Farmers loved it, competitors feared it, and history remembers it as one of the boldest tractors ever built, a machine that pushed the limits of what farming technology could be. The 7080 wasn't built for small jobs. It was built for men who wanted to conquer acres, not just manage them. A true king of the horsepower age. Number 9. Allis Chalmers 220. Not every legend roars. Some simply work, quietly, faithfully, and flawlessly. That was the Allis Chalmers 220. Built between 1969 and 1973, while the D21 took the spotlight for its brute power, the 2020 became the quiet performer that many farmers grew to love deeply. Powered by the same 426 cubic inch diesel engine as its bigger brother, the 220 delivered around 117 horsepower, but it was smoother, more balanced, and easier to handle. It had power steering, dual hydraulics, and brakes designed for absolute control, making it one of the safest and most stable tractors in its class. Farmers quickly realized this wasn't just another big machine. It was precise, comfortable, and strong enough to handle everything from tillage to heavy hauling. Its size made it imposing, but its operation was surprisingly nimble. The 220 didn't buck or fight, it flowed through its work. And for those who spent long days behind the wheel, its comfort and handling were unmatched. It was one of the last Allis Chalmers models to carry that beautiful rounded styling before the company transitioned into the sharper designs of the 7000 series. The 220 didn't get the fame it deserved, but those who owned one will tell you it was the best tractor Allis Chalmers ever made. Reliable, balanced, and graceful. Collectors today call it the gentleman's powerhouse, because while others shouted, the 220 simply got the job done every single time. Number 10. Allis Chalmers 8050. By the early 1980s, the golden age of Allis Chalmers was coming to an end. But before the curtain fell, the company gave the world one last masterpiece, the 8050. Released in 1981, this tractor represented everything Allis Chalmers had learned over nearly 7 decades. So, power, comfort, intelligence, durability. The 8050 packed a 426 cubic inch turbo diesel engine, producing up to 170 horsepower. But what truly shocked the industry was its 16-speed power shift transmission, a marvel of engineering that allowed shifting under load with unmatched smoothness. It was fast, efficient, and built for long days on massive acreage. But the real surprise was the operator experience. The cab of the 8050 felt more like an aircraft cockpit than a farm tractor. Air suspension seats, climate control, ergonomic controls, and panoramic visibility. It was quiet, refined, and comfortable, a tractor built for the modern age. But behind that luxury was raw power. The 8050 could pull, lift, and haul with relentless force, doing in one day what older models took two to finish. Sadly, it arrived during Allis Chalmers' decline. Financial troubles and market competition meant it never reached its full commercial glory. Yet, for those who know the brand, the 8050 stands as the ultimate farewell, the final symphony of an engineering legacy that defined American farming. Even today, when one of these machines starts up, it's like hearing the voice of history, deep, proud, unbroken. The Allis Chalmers 8050 wasn't just a tractor. It was a goodbye letter written in steel and diesel smoke, and it reminded the world that while companies may fall, legends never die. Each of these Allis Chalmers tractors proved that true innovation comes from courage and sometimes from breaking the rules. Which one do you think had the biggest impact on farming history? Let me know in the comments below. If you love legendary tractors, forgotten innovations, and stories from the golden age of machinery, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and remember, great ideas never fade, they just wait to be rediscovered.